Have you ever wondered what Japan is like? The technology, the cities, the religion, and most importantly, the culture. Did you know the Japanese consider sumo wrestling to be a national sport? And it is, in fact, the most popular sport in the country? Or did you know that the samurai was a huge role in Japanese military all the way up until the 1900s? I am going to go in depth and tell you all about the culture of the Japanese. Who knows? Maybe you haven't known anything about their culture all along. Or maybe you might realize that their cultures are pretty similar and also very different from ours. The reason I chose Japan as my place to research was because Japan is a very technologically advanced country. And because of its advancements, it relates to my future field of work in technology. In my presentation, I go over all of the religion, sports, the diverse type of people in the country, their food, and even the culture behind gardening, the samurai, and the cherry blossom. My 5 main topics for my presentation were discussing and researching the people, the religion, the samurai, the food, and the sports. The people of Japan are a very diverse group. The people of Japan are in a total of 126 million people, but only 75 million of those people are actually Japanese, meaning that around 50 million people in the population are of mixed heritages. Religion, on the other hand, in Japan is a private affair. It is not required by the country, but it is a given, as it is a family affair. The 2 main types of religion used in Japan is Shintoism and Buddhism. Shintoism is the indigenous Japanese religion, and it is based upon a doctrine called the Gogyo Gogen Doctrine. Buddhism, on the other hand, is the world's 4th largest practiced religion with over 520 million followers who all praise the Buddha. Religion is practiced as a family affair, of course, and religious rituals are used in birth, marriage, and cases of death. The samurai is one of the biggest impacts in Japanese cultures, as for the longest time, the samurai was the most respected and top-tier people in Japan. To be a samurai, you had to be appointed by a high military leader, or, well, you had to be a high military leader. Samurais were very respected, as they were always seen as the most highly respected members in Japan, as they had to be trusted and had to practically base their existence around respect. Japanese sports as a whole are not very different than what we see every day. They play mostly all the same sports we do, but not all of them. The people of Japan still have the basic sports such as baseball, soccer, and football. They just don't play them as a national sport or on the national level. Instead, they play national sports such as Japanese fencing, sumo wrestling, and multiple forms of martial arts, including karate, judo, and Japanese boxing. Japan is said to be a foodie's paradise because of the great value that comes with Japanese food being as good as it is. Japanese food has always been a part of their culture because some of their staple food items of today used to be things other than food back then, such as rice was once a currency and your wealth was determined by how much rice you owned. Some of the major dishes in Japanese food groups are fish, rice, and many soups. Japanese food typically is determined on whatever food is in the season at the time. As I said before, my choice regarded around my future workforce, which would be in the technology field, and Japan is one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world, if not the most technologically advanced in the world. Japan is pictured as this very vibrant and luminous country where everything is advanced. Well, in a way, that is true. If you were to look at some major places in Japan, such as Tokyo, you would see that it really is just a bright place with a lot of technology. But this does not just come for free. The advancements come from all of their youth that take up something in technology as a career. Japan spends nearly 4% of their gross domestic product on public education to allow for more educational opportunities for more people. Any field that has anything to do with computers or even just technology itself is very important in Japan, as many people in these fields are needed to upkeep a place as high demand as Japan. Discussing these 5 topics of food, religion, people, samurai, and sports, I believe it allows some people to see deeper into the culture of the Japanese, as all of them have a very big impact on how we see their culture today, and how they practice and live with their own culture in their everyday lives. I feel Japan has one of, if not the best cultures out there, because, well, it's made out of pure respect for everything. Respect for the people, respect for the government, respect for nature, etc., etc. The Japanese culture is a culture that, in my opinion, should be practiced more because living your life respecting everything around you can just make your life a whole lot easier. Japan, in all, is very famous and well known for its traditional arts. But what you don't see physically is the culture and the way these people live. They live with some of the most rich and deep history in the country, and I hope I was able to shed some light on that today, as many of these things make up the Japanese culture.